Hello, my name is Kent Philpott, and this is December the 6th in 2016. The title of this is Santeria and Spiritual Power. Several years ago, I wrote a number of essays and made videos on Santeria. They are in the essays in our earthenvesseljournal.com and receive several thousand views every single week and have for many years. And over the years, from the essays and from videos that I've made on Santeria, I have received a lot of contacts. And I very rarely make a response. It gets to be a little bit overwhelming, too many to deal with and think about all the time. So I decided to make this video in response to a few dozen of my more recent contacts on Santeria. And I want to say that I know that Santeria is a very large and powerful religion, and there are many millions who are attracted to it. It came over from West Africa when the slaves were brought over, and they brought it into the Caribbean area. And later on, because of opposition from the Roman Catholic Church, it went underground and it became Santeria, meaning that saint thing. In some places, it's called, like in Haiti, it's called voodoo. In Cuba, it's called lucumai. I may mispronounce a little bit. In Brazil, it is sometimes called candomblé or macumba. I have known people who have been a part of all of these, Cubans and Brazilians and Haitians, and in many other places, particularly the United States, it's Santeria. It deals with the worship of the Orisha gods, the worship of Orisha gods, those far fewer in number than what were worshipped in West Africa. And they're often given saint names, and the religion is also intermingled with Roman Catholicism, but other people outside of Roman Catholicism have joined, and so it's not exclusively with that background. But there is spiritual power there. The Santeros, the Santeras, the Babalaos, and others, they do contact spiritual power. In the Bembe, there are the ecstasies, the experience of going into an altered state of consciousness where beings are communicated with. Of course, Santeria owes its origin to shamanism some 10,000 plus years ago that spread from Siberia, both east and west, and is very powerful, still to this day and growing. And many people are attracted to it because of the spiritual power. There is miracle. There are the curses. There are the blessings. There is the fortune telling. I am very familiar with it. In my book, The Soul Journey, how shamanism, Santeria, Wicca, and charisma are connected, I discuss Santeria at length, giving everything anybody ever needs to know about Santeria. If you type my name into Amazon.com, you'll see that book, The Soul Journey. So I'm making this video in response to people who have tried to counter me by saying it's real, there's real spiritual power there, and I say, yes, I do agree with you. But what is the nature of that spiritual power? In the Bible, we find that there is a holy spiritual power. There's only one Holy Spirit, very clearly only will point to Jesus Christ and who Jesus is and what Jesus did on the cross. There's another spiritual power that is a demonic spiritual power that Satan controls. And by the way, the charismatic gifts of the Holy Spirit that we find listed in Romans 12 and 1 Corinthians 12, there is a counterfeit to every single one of those gifts. Real spiritual power It's there. And it's very deceiving once you see it. All of a sudden, you become abundantly aware of the reality of spiritual power, except that it is not a holy spiritual power. And it flies exactly in the face of straightforward biblical Christianity that we see about Jesus, particularly in the Gospels in our New Testament. I say this out of love for those people. I've had contact with many dozens of them over the years. Babalaos, many Santeros. I do to this day on a weekly kind of a basis. And so I'm making this video as an appeal to take the time to question what is the source of this spiritual power. Because once you get engaged in it, once you become grabbed by the power, those spiritual powers that are operative in Santeria and Lucumai and Candomblé and Voodoo and Macumba, or whatever it might be called, whenever you get there, you're in a spiritual battle. And that spiritual battle, the main weapon is avoidance of Christians, avoidance of Jesus Christ. That is where the battle rages. And so I'm trying to reach out to all of those who have read my essays and seen my videos. I know the struggle that you're going through. May God help you with that. And I would say, as it says in the book of Hebrews, looking to Jesus, the beginning and the end of our faith. So long.